Well, it's round 2 of the 60Simthings Series 4 of the GT3s. And today we're at Brands Hatch. How did I get on? Well, buckle in and sit down, get a cup of tea and see how I got on. Hello and welcome to another episode of Wolfie's Wheels. Today is another sim racing video. And as you know, probably, maybe, I don't know, I compete or take part in a league called the 60Simthings Sim Racing League. This is designed for people who are wanting to do sim racing with a PC on Asseto Corsa Competizione and are aged over 60. So tick, tick, tick. Ability doesn't matter, which is just as well in my case. Anyway, it's now Series 4 of the GT3s. It's been going that long. And this is round 2. You might have seen round 1, which was from Paul Ricard, and if not, look it up on the channel. But this is round 2. And round 2 comes from Brands Hatch, which is one of the UK's sort of classic race courses. They've been racing on the site since 1926. This circuit itself is 3.9 something kilometres long. They say it has 9 corners. It seems more than that to me. And the real lap record is 1 minute 23 point something seconds. My personal best is 1 minute 26 point something seconds, and a good sim racer can do it in 1 minute 21, 1 minute 22. So the numbers are a bit all over the place. Anyway, how did I get on? Well, if you watch the video, we can find out how I got on and where that leaves me standing in the championships at the end of the second round. So without further ado, let's leap in. So in an attempt to keep some sort of semblance of consistency, wrong teeth, between the various films, we'll start off just running through who's where on the grid. And in first pole position, we've got Will Rayson in the BMW. Second on the grid is Stu Charles in the McLaren, and third on the grid is Andy Policott in the Lamborghini. Bob Jones, who is my teammate in V&M Racing, also in McLaren in position number 4. Andy Gore in a Ferrari 296 takes 5th off the grid. Then it's yours truly qualifying in 6th in the Ferrari GT 296, and in 7th place is Steve Hancock in another of the BMWs, and in 8th position we have Mike Hansen, the only person in this race running the Mustang, which is very fast in a straight line but doesn't like corners, and there's quite a lot of corners at Brands Hatch. So anyway, here we go. Well, as ever, it's a rolling start. You have to go in your positions at a certain speed as we all come up to the start, and here we go. I was down and look in, and I've already lost a place, as you can see, off the grid, and I nearly lose another one here coming into Paddock Hill Bend. I go a little bit wide, a little bit greedy on my throttle, but I get away with it as we all sweep into Druids for the first time. I'm thinking I could get around the outside here. No, I can't. And then we come down into Graham Hill Bend, down Surtees. So this coming up with Surtees, that was Graham Hill Bend, round into Surtees. So this is a helicam, just to get an idea of how it all strings out over the first lap. We go up the Hawthorne Hill. There's a quite fast part, dropping right down into the Hawthorne Bend, here into Derrick Minter Straight, the Westfield Bend, Dingledell, round the Blind Sheen Curve, little straight, to the left next called Stirling's, straight down on the straight onto the Clearways, before we come round Park Curve to complete the first lap. And as I say, I've already lost a place, but I'm not that far behind, so I'm kind of smelling a bit of blood here. We'll now look at the first couple of laps from the driver's seat of my Ferrari. The thing is, the helicam gives you one view, but it doesn't always give you the complete perspective. I mean, it looks like you're quite strung out on the helicam view, but actually when you're sort of in the mix of it, it's all somewhat closer. Here we come down into Paddock Bend, a little wriggle there, under the bridge, brake hard, the right hand Druids. I'm on the wrong side of the track really, it's quite slippery out there, but I thought I could perhaps get around the outside of Steve, but I couldn't. I come down into Grand Hill Bend, and straight, as we come up into Stirling's, ready for the long and fairly fast horse. And straight, you need to get a good drive out of there, because this is a fairly fast part of the track. It goes down the hill, 238, 240 kilometres an hour, round into the Hawthorne right-hander, brake hard, right-hander, Westfield, Dingley Dell. Now, I described this as the blind sheen curve. What I meant was it's not called blind sheen, it's the sheen curve. It is blind, as you probably just saw. And down here, left-hander, down onto clearways. Now, Clark curve, and we come round to complete a lap. But we're just going to sit in the car for another lap, just because we can, really. So I'll shut up now, and we can just go for the ride. A little bit wide. You can see here already after just one lap, Will has pulled out a 2-second lead over the second place guy. I mean, that's phenomenal. He was phenomenally quick here as well. Incredible times. Blind, throw it in, hope for the best. And here we go, coming up to the end of the second lap. So 3-second lead Will's already got over the second place guy, Andy. We'll now have a look at perspective of car 98, who is Steve Hancock in the BMW. And as you can see from the lap times, I mean, the first 3 are miles down the road. You've got Bob in car 808, who's 4.7 seconds behind the guy who's already 4 seconds behind the leader, as it were. So the race is very much split into 2 parts. But you know, as a small group, it's quite tight here. Steve is only sort of 0.3 of a second behind Andy, who's only 0.6 behind Bob, whereas I'm trailing sort of well over a second behind them. It's, you know, it's closer than it looks, let's put it that way. But let's just run around the lap here with Steve. In my effort to catch up to this group, I'm only a second behind, I end up getting the most almighty tank slapper coming through here. If you think it looks bad from within the car, have a look at the external cam. I was very lucky to save that, and yeah, wowzer. Well, after that debacle, probably only right to show you how it should be done. So let's go for a lap with Will, who we'll say after 2 laps is over 4 seconds ahead of the next guy. And then just sit back and enjoy. This is how it should be done. Perfect line through there. Carrying much more speed through Surtees than I do. Getting on the power quicker, straightening it up. These are all the little bits that make the difference. And I got to 240 down here, so you're going to cap out at 245, 246 there. Very confident drive. Perfect line, just taking enough curb. Line sheen bend, throwing it in. Onto the start finish straight. I'm going to go across the line at 124.7. Now we can just sit back and enjoy seeing Steve Hancock in the BMW chasing down Andy Gore in the 296 Ferrari. Just see him chase around for a few corners. And now we'll jump on board car number 722, which is Stu Charles in the McLaren, who is, if you like, at the back of the front group. So he's chasing down Andy Policott, and then there's a big gap from there to Bob Jones, who is kind of in the lead of the second group. So we'll just sit back and we'll just enjoy this lap with Stu. It's about now that the pit window gets opened, and first people into the pits are Andy and Steve and Bob. Sorry, not Andy, it's Bob and Steve, who are in front of me. So as they go into the pits, I can get round on the track, and hopefully if I can do a better pit stop, I can come out in front of both of these guys after my pit stop and gain the positions. And yep, on the very next lap I decide I'm going to actually take my compulsory pit stop, get the timing pretty good coming in for the 50 limit, pit limiter on okay, and overall I've got to take fuel. That's really compulsory, and so I do the compulsory pit stop, and I just come up to the box. I actually stop, I think, for me pretty well, and we'll get up on the jacks. However, as I'm leaving the pits, You've got Bob and Steve coming down on the outside, and I'm told there's traffic approaching. You can't see it on here. And sure enough, there goes Bob, and this is of course for position. And there's Steve. Have I hit him? Have I forced him off the track? I don't know. Let's. We're going to have to take another look at that, you know. So looking at it from Bob's car in slow motion, you can see me coming out of the pits here, and he gets past with no problems at all. This is looking at it from Steve's perspective, where I was probably just frankly in the wrong place for him to turn in. Again, from my perspective, in slow motion, I leave the pits here. I definitely don't touch either car. Whether or not I am actually perhaps a little bit further away from the curb than I might have been, I don't know. But either way, there's no question that Steve went off the track, probably because of me. And I don't like that, so I'm certainly not going to hold the place. So I looked in my rearview mirror and I could see that Steve was actually okay. He was going to basically have an off track on the gravel and then get back on the track. But I really wanted to let him past, so I took it fairly steady through the next few corners, trying to find somewhere safe to let him back through. And after we came round the left-hander Surtees, I stayed over to the left, which is off the racing line, and yep, he came past, and I could then crack on as good Steve. Hopefully no harm done and no hard feelings. We pick up the action again at the end of the same lap, and come down the start finish straight down into Druids, and things go probably wrong, I'm afraid, again for Steve, and I nearly take him out completely this time, and definitely ruin both of our races. Very little time to react. Do I go left, do I go right? Called it correctly, dodged round to the left, and got away with it. Phew, I would hate to have taken him out there after what happened before. And while all this was going on, Mike makes his pit stop in the Mustang. Nice clean entry, and comes in behind car number 722, who is Stu Charles. Meanwhile, at the front, one of the front runners has a bit of an incident, gets away with it insofar as doesn't lose any places. And while in second place, Andy makes another pit stop, and I couldn't understand why I ended up in front of him, but it was because of this pit stop. Unfortunately, Andy had miscalculated the fuel, so not only did he make the compulsory pit stop, he actually ended up having to come out of second position to make an additional stop to take just a little bit more fuel on, which is immensely frustrating for him, of course. A couple of laps later, on the blind sheen curve, things go pretty horribly wrong for me, but again I get away with it, so yeah, things are not smooth throughout the race. Andy, of course, is one of the front runners, or was until he had to make the extra pit stop. So let's just observe a lap and maybe ride in a passenger cam position just for a lap, just to see how it's really done. nothing much really happened after those incidents, so we'll just jump to watching people come over the finish line, I think. And coming across the line is our winner by nearly 21 seconds, Will Racing. We're now looking at the last few corners by Andy, who came in second, and wasn't entirely incident free, as it turned out, rather proving that even the best of us can make mistakes. But look at that, he completely gets away with it. That's jammy. Bounces himself back into the right direction, and he comes round the corner to take a creditable and well deserved and well earned second place. Coming across the line next in third place we have Stu Charles, and then my teammate Bob Jones in fourth. Then we get me coming through in fifth, a lucky fifth I think really, but I'll take it. And then Steve Hancock in sixth. Unfortunately at this point here the film ran out, so I haven't got Mike or Andy going across the finish line, but here are some stills of them. They did finish the race and they're the positions 7th and 8th. So here we have confirmation of those positions, showing the best lap times of the various people, so you can pause it here if you're interested in that sort of thing. As I say, good laps, and these are the team results of that race. So Cornwall Cottage winning, Ray Gore Racing in second, and V&M Racing third, Alliance Racing Team in Racing Reapers. Here are the overall championships. I'm very pleased to still be in second and surprised. I think it was definitely helped by coming second in the first round. I only expect that to get worse from now. And the overall team standings are shown here. So Cornwall Cottage Racing are in the lead by quite a long way now, and V&M Racing, but it's still very early in the season, so I'm certainly not giving up any hope yet. Well, I hope you enjoyed that trot round Brands Hatch with the 60Simthings Racing League. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the film. It's much appreciated. I know time is precious. And in the meantime, it leaves me not much else to do other than the usual YouTubers. Please subscribe, like, leave a whatever, and share it, tell your mates, blah, blah, blah. And that's it for today. And I look forward to seeing you in a future episode of Wolfie's Wheels. Bye.